Review copy provided by Nintendo. Yoshi's Crafted World continues Nintendo's trend of forming cute and adorable platformers with themes of traditional household items. While we've seen both Kirby and Yoshi in yarn forms before, Yoshi's Crafted World takes the lovable dinosaur on a brand new type of adventure. I'm skipping the story for this one just because there really isn't anything too deep to dig into. The quick recap is that Bowser is trying to steal a collection of gems that grant him the ability to make his dreams come true. The Yoshis of Yoshi's Island act as the guardians of these stones, and so now it's up to them to retrieve the missing stones and stop Bowser. Like most games related to the Mario universe, it's not a deep story but rather just some background context for the gameplay that takes center stage. Like its predecessors before it, Yoshi's Crafted World is a 2D platformer, pretty much Studio Goodfield's bread and butter at this point. However, instead of adopting the yarn formula from the previous games, this Yoshi game takes the theme of an arts and crafts classroom. It's different, but absolutely none of the charm is lost. In fact, this might be Yoshi's cutest adventure yet. Continuing in its developer's tradition, it's not a particularly tough platformer, although it's the most challenging one so far with a lot to do. Playing through the campaign, you'll do your initial walkthrough of a level, platforming, collecting, and solving a puzzle. The usual stuff. What's interesting though is that once you've completed the level, you can replay it backwards for a brand new perspective. It's a neat touch because suddenly a platform that you experienced before acts completely different now in a way that wouldn't have been obvious in your first playthrough. Aside from just completing the level in 2 variations, you also have to collect flowers scattered throughout each one. Levels are unlocked by collecting these flowers, and so they're vital to the progression of the campaign. On top of stars, you can collect coins that are used as a currency. These in return unlock costumes for Yoshi to wear during his adventure. Like the rest of the game's design, they're absolutely charming and even act as a buff for Yoshi, giving him some extra armor for attacks. It works well as an enticement to keep playing the levels for completion, but also just to progress through the campaign. Playing a level in Crafted World usually takes a pretty calm and slow pace as you waddle through it. You'll run, jump, ground pound, and eat just about anything you can, turning them into eggs. These eggs can then be thrown to knock down objects, collect things, or even attack enemies. It's a simple mechanic, but goes a long way throughout the level design. You're constantly encouraged to throw an egg at something in the background, sometimes revealing a hidden item. You'll also be using these to attack bosses, who are some of the most astonishing parts of Yoshi's Crafted World. While grand in size, they start off as craft pieces from the environment that suddenly come to life. While I certainly would have loved for them to be more challenging, and the game does get a bit more challenging, albeit at a slower pace towards the end of it, they were still very memorable and on par with some of the best fights in Mario games history. All of these features end up being a clever use of the art style that really pushes forward multiple background layers. There's so much that can be said about Yoshi's Crafted World's visuals. I mean, first off, it's completely adorable and reminds me of my childhood back at Driftwell Elementary in Oxnard, California. A time where what I was going to finger paint next was my only trouble in the world. While I was a big fan of the yarn aesthetic in Woolly World and Epic Yarn, Crafted World really raises the bar. While all 3 are cute, Crafted World just has so much attention to detail that makes it stand out for me. Coins have this beautiful shine to them, rocks have a rough texture, and rubber bands flex to the weight of Yoshi waddling on top of them. The use of multiple background layers isn't just done for show, but used brilliantly in the gameplay's level design to even create 2 versions of the same stage. The razzling attention to detail is spread across every new terrain Crafted World introduces, and despite what early trailers suggested, there's quite a bit of them here. What's equally as impressive as the art style is the performance. Yoshi's Crafted World is running on Unreal Engine 4, and despite what most other Unreal Engine 4 Switch games run at, this one manages to maintain a solid 60 FPS performance. Of course, some drawbacks had to be made to reach this, like a dynamic resolution that dips below the 720p mark, but I believe it was the right move. While the game can get fuzzy in handheld mode, the great performance really makes a difference in this case. Playing in dock mode, you do get a better resolution and still maintain that 60 FPS lock, so that's how I ended up playing most of my adventure. Where Yoshi doesn't do a great job of standing out is in its music. It's not bad by any means, but it doesn't really leave a lasting impression. The first few rounds of listening to a new song, much like the game's art style, is lovely and cute. However, unlike the visuals, it doesn't leave an impact and instead feels more like an ambient tune that plays along with the level rather than accompanying it. The audio design is a little better with variations between the different types of crafting materials as you scurry across them. It's a great touch along with the subtle but noticeable use of HC Rumble with each of Yoshi's actions. Yoshi's Crafted World feels like a tiny but still there evolution of Goodfield's latest platformers. It's still just as cute as all their other games and is a better execution of level design, content, and challenge, although that can still be improved. It's a game that put a smile on my face the whole time I was playing it, even though I think the music and the difficulty could be a little bit better. This is still no doubt another great addition to the Switch's growing collection of wonderful platformers.